Welcome to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. My name is Todd Long. I'm glad you're listening this week. I'm glad you're listening to all the episodes and putting some time and energy into this. Over the past several weeks, I've been focused on this series called Time to Lead. And the first episode was focused on this framework called Meaning Matrix. Then I looked at the philosophy of time in the second episode. The third episode, we looked at investing time and how we invest our time and the return on that investment. Last week's episode focused on really practical tools for putting thinking around time into practice, putting it into action. I called that the blueprint for your time. And this week I'm going to focus on the topic of mantras of time. That's what I'm going to call this, the mantras of time. This past weekend, my wife and I, Rebecca, we got the chance to move our daughter Elizabeth into school back to Florida, where she's in her third year there. We had such a great experience taking her down there and getting her into her apartment. We found out the day before we moved her in that the elevator was broken in the building that she was to move into. So we knew that ahead of time. And our daughter was moving up to the 8th floor. I had to stop and mentally prepare myself for this experience because I thought, it's hot in Florida. We got 8 floors to move all her stuff up to the top of this level and get her moved in. I paused and I thought, first of all, this is an important event to spend time with our daughter. Second, I thought about this. I thought, you know what? My attitude, my perspective on this is going to impact the day. So I decided to say, first of all, I love my daughter and I love helping her move in. That was the first thing I started to think about and express in this move. The second thing is I thought about, this is a workout. I get up in the morning, I'll go exercise for an hour, get my heart rate up. I'll go play pickleball for an hour and a half or 2 hours and work out and exert a ton of energy. So my second thinking and my mantra to myself was, this is my workout time. Let's get after this. This is an opportunity to get some good exercise and also help our daughter and love on her a little bit. Those are the mantras that were happening in my mind. I have to tell you, it was a pretty darn good experience. I was also thankful for the other workers that helped us move some of this stuff up those stairs because it was quite a haul. We think about mantras, these phrases, and I want to apply that to the mantras that we have around time because I believe that the things that we say consistently over and over impact ourselves, others, and the culture of the organizations that we're a part of. That's our focus today, the mantras of time. Let's make this happen. Welcome to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. Welcome to the Toddcast, great ideas you'll love. So what is the definition of a mantra? Well, a mantra is simply words or expressions that are used repeatedly. They're phrases that we say to ourselves internally, or sometimes we say them out loud to the people around us. And again, they shape our thinking, our beliefs, our emotions, and our behaviors. The things that we say internally or externally shape who we are and our experiences in life. Oftentimes we think about mantras in religious settings of prayers and meditation, or as a Chinese friend of mine said, ancient wisdom. We can think about mantras in the self-help world where we repeat phrases over and over to help motivate ourselves. I got this. I can do this. I'm going to make this happen. Mantras can also be self-defeating. I'm no good at this. I can't make this happen. I'm a failure. Life's out to get me. So mantras are all around us. They're just part of our life. And I would say that we have mantras that are directly connected to time. And I would also say that life forms our mantras. The things that are happening in life, they form the things that we say. And I'd also say that mantras form our life. So again, life forms our mantras and mantras form our life. Let me give you a couple examples here. Here's on a personal level. If one of our mantras is, there's so much on my plate. I'm just so busy. That's a mantra. I hear that quite frequently. And there's a reality to that maybe your life is super busy. We've got kids, we've got jobs, we've got community activities, we've got social connections and experiences we have to do, and life is really busy. And that's the phrase we use. So our life has formed our mantras, and our mantra continues to reinforce the life we live. That's on a personal level. Think about this from an organizational business level. I work with a number of companies that are publicly traded. And one of the mantras in every publicly traded company that I've worked with is, the end of the quarter's coming. It's the end of the quarter. We've got all these things that need to get done by the end of the quarter. What are the earnings going to be like at the end of the quarter? And there's this pressure, this drive, this anticipation that happens. Now, I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that that's the reality of the mantras that shape the behaviors and the thoughts and the experience and the culture of that particular organization. I have a friend who works for a bank, and it's interesting the phrases that I'm hearing from him, and I've heard also in other banking industries, is things change slow around here. We've heard the phrase banker's hours. I don't know if that's used anymore, if that's true or not, but come in late, leave early, banker's hours. So those are some mantras that are formed in the organizations and in ourselves that are around us all the time. So if this is true that life forms our mantras and mantras form our life, then it's pretty important to think about how we communicate about time and how that impacts ourselves and the people around us. Let me give you a couple of examples around this. So think about on the personal level how our mantras shape us. So imagine at a personal level, some of your mantras might be, don't waste your time. That's your personal mantra. Or there's no time like the present. Or good things take time. Those are mantras we repeat over and over. That's going to form the way we think and the things that we do. Think about this from an organizational perspective. If some of the mantras in the culture of the businesses that we're working are such as these, we have to get there before our competition. Time is money. Something has to give. We have all the time in the world. Those are different phrases that might show up in organizations, which then shape that culture of that organization or that business. So what do we do with this? Well, to me, it's about awareness of the impact. So if we think about the mantras we're using and saying to ourselves and the people around us, then that awareness is important to know what's the impact that that's having on ourselves and the culture of the people that we're working with. Let's start with the self. I want to go there, then I'm going to talk about how the team or the organization. Imagine someone comes up to you and says, how's it going? And you respond, oh, I'm busy. There's so many things on my plate. I've got so many things I got to get done. Life is just so full and I've got to get all this stuff done. Right? That's your mantra. I'm busy. That's interesting. We think about that phrase, and there's some reality to that then perpetuates the busyness of it. And I'd also say sometimes when we say we're busy, it may make us feel important or have purpose. There's something satisfying about saying I'm busy, and that means I'm important or I'm more valuable. But imagine if somebody said this to you. How's it going? You say, life is great. It's really at a great pace right now. I've taken time to really think about what's important and the priorities in my life and put those on my calendar and shape my life in such a way that, I have a really good pace. I'm driven to get the things done that are important. And I also have the space and time to think and reflect and refresh myself. That's a whole different mantra. Now, somebody might respond to it and goes, wow, man, I wish I had that life. Or, man, how do you do that? I don't know what the response would be, but that's a whole different response and a mantra to ourselves and how we lead ourselves. Now, let's think about this from others. Now, imagine you're a team leader and you work in an industry where you have to get stuff out the door fast. It's a shipping industry. You have to get product out the door. And as a team leader, your mantras to your teams are, we need to get this done and out the door before 5. We need to pick up the pace. Let's get after it. Imagine those are some mantras that could show up in that environment. Or here's another mantra that would impact the team. We have these goals today. Let's work smart and consistently to achieve them. Remember, take your breaks. We want to make sure people are refreshed. We're at our best when we use our time well. So let's stay refreshed and let's stay focused today. It's a different mantra, a different phrase that impacts the people around us. Imagine this in a one-on-one setting. If you're a leader that's urgent and you're working with an employee that has a steady perspective of time, how do you think that interaction is going to take place when your urgency bumps up against their steadiness? You might actually have to flex the way you communicate somewhat to help that steady employee be successful and feel like they can contribute in a meaningful way. Those are some things you can think about in terms of awareness of the impact of the mantras that you say, the mantras you say personally and how that impacts you, but also the mantras, the phrases that are used in the work and the environments that you work in. I want to give you some mantras of time to consider. I want you to just think about these and reflect on, are these some of the mantras that show up in your world? I'm going to give you 7 categories of these mantras to consider. And as I share these phrases, think about them. Are these phrases that I use and how do they impact myself and the people around me? So here's the first category, value. Time is money. Time is precious. Spend your time wisely. Don't waste your time. Every minute counts. Second category, limits. Life is short. We don't have all the time in the world. Time flies. Blink and you'll miss it. Time waits for no one. Third category, priorities. There aren't enough hours in the day. Too much is on my plate. I'm stretched too thin. My schedule is full. Something has to give. Fourth category, opportunity. Time is everything. Strike while the iron is hot. Better late than never. There's no time like the present. Right place, right time. Fifth category to consider, patience. Good things take time. One step at a time. Slow and steady wins the race. Give it time. In due time. Sixth category, busyness. I'm slammed. I'm burning the candle at both ends. I'm running on empty. I'm consistently putting out fires. I'm always playing catch up. And finally, our seventh category, reflection. Hindsight is 20/20. Only time will tell. Time heals all wounds. This too shall pass. A season for everything. Hope you had some time to reflect on some of those phrases and think, what are the things that you're saying to yourself and saying to others that are impacting yourself and impacting the people around you? Here's the try it out section. It's a self-awareness exercise. In the next week, I want you to do this. I want you to think about and reflect on the mantras that you say to yourself or out loud. That's number one exercise. The second part of this exercise is to listen for the mantras that are spoken by others around you. So at work, in your social life, wherever that might be, just listen to those mantras and reflect on those mantras. That's your try it out section. Here's the quote of the week. This comes from Bruce Lee. And as I share this quote, I want you to think about time. Absorb what is useful. Reject what is useless. Add what is specifically your own. Thank you again so much for listening to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. My goal is to help you to be a confident and discerning leader, and thank you for listening so much. I pray that we have new awareness of how we speak about time and how it impacts ourselves and others. I pray that we have wisdom to align our thinking to what is best in the time that we're given. Again, thank you for listening to the Toddcast. Have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye-bye.